We're talking about here our traditional beliefs and customs of the different tribes. And if I don't hear many, then I'll understand that some of you don't really understand what your culture is.
In the Baganda, it is believed that if you are a girl and if you are respectful, you have to kneel down before the elders. Then, in the Baganda still, if you are the firstborn, maybe to the girls, and you, let me say, teenage pregnancy, or if you become pregnant yet you are the firstborn, then all the girls who follow you have to do that.
No, we're talking about cultural beliefs. Yes? The cultural beliefs, the traditional aspects. You hear what people are touching. It's not really that when a firstborn gets pregnant, that all the other girls will be pregnant. But tradition or custom has set it. You know, the family has set a certain belief that, you know, if my firstborn daughter actually gets pregnant, gets pregnant early before she has completed school, then all the other. But it doesn't really follow suit. But it's a belief. We said culture, custom is a belief. What do others believe? They are unwritten rules, unwritten behavior. You understand? But they are beliefs that people believe in. Anyone else to tell me about what their culture, what their custom says? KANYANKOLE, where are you? You know, when we live here today, whatever tribe you are, I want you to really go and ask your parents, your relatives, what do our traditional aspects talk about? You understand? But I want to hear some more traditional beliefs. The KANYANKOLE, which culture sacrifices their firstborn? Which culture? Which culture? So I wanted to give some examples. And, you know, culture and custom relates to how we behave, how we interact, how we relate with others. But some of these traditional aspects are unwritten, very unwritten norms, but people have actually taken them to be like a way of life, a certain practice. And we say for the customs that are good, let's be able to follow them. Sorry about that. So there is kind of an interception. You have beliefs according to culture, according to the custom. And then this side, you have an expectation. How do people expect you to behave? How do they expect you to relate? How do they expect you to act? Yeah? And then this side is your behavior. So it's kind of like circles that intercept each other. So we have the beliefs, we have the expectations, we have the behavior, we have the social norms. So they are kind of unwritten rules, but also beliefs that people expect. You should be able to do that, like she's told us. In Buganda, they expect the girls, the females, should be able to kneel. I've seen actually for some families, whether boy or girl, kneeling is part of the practice in the Baganda as a matter of showing respect. People also have certain customs on how they relate. We're talking about the greeting. I don't know how do people greet. Those from the East, how do we greet? Is that the East? The East greets like that? No. There are some people who bow. You know, if you're greeting the elders, you just bow. There are some who do the hugging. The Chinese. You tell me how do the Chinese greet? Stand up and show them. You know, you have to show respect, especially the greeting part is very, very important. And does not matter, male, female, old, or young. But the expectation from us, the young ones, is higher. So we are anticipating that our families, our parents, our relatives are teaching us how to behave. You know, as you're growing up, they say, you girls, you have to do this. You boys, you're expected to do this. As part of the greeting, we also then have some cultures who have to lie down. Yes, haven't you heard of them? Then we also have customs as part of culture, how we dress. Huh? You know? Like, I know the Baganda, the people from the north, they wear the gomesi. The Westerners, some wear the mushanana. We have the suit. Hmm? So that is all part of culture and custom. How we behave, how we relate. There are also traditional foods. That's also part of culture, part of the custom. Huh? Part of the culture, part of the custom. If you go to the Buganda here and you don't eat matoke, then that's not food. Huh? Then our friends in the north, you must eat kalo. Our friends from southwest, some of them you have to eat this other portion from cassava. There are people who eat, the Baganda also use the mushrooms, traditional sauce, but there are also those who love the meat. So if we talk about customs, culture, before you even go into the diversity bit of it. So when we talk about greetings, that's how people communicate. How do we welcome visitors? You know? So those might not be written somewhere or cast in stone, but we are expecting that you as a person, you as a child who is growing up, you should be able to know how to greet. You should know what our traditional foods are. You should know how to communicate very well. You should know how to greet. Huh? Do we know how to greet? And as we discuss this topic, I really want to implore you that the things that we're talking about, can we go back to our customs? Don't think about the way of life that we're leading these days. Morning, daddy, morning, mommy, and you just move away. Like when visitors come, you have to greet them. If someone has come at home, they have things they're carrying, you have to carry for them, even if it's their bag, even if it's what. We've talked about what people eat and how they relate. There are traditional ceremonies. You've heard about the traditional ceremonies? Huh? The traditional ceremonies, what do they include? Huh? Circumcision. We've heard of the embalu. Huh? There are people who are from Mumbali. If you're growing up and you're from that side, from the east, and you haven't been circumcised, you haven't gone through embalu, then you're not a proper man. You're still on the way of growing. Other traditional ceremonies, people who give birth to twins. Huh? While we go to church, dedicate them, some people go and perform certain functions on those twins. But thank God sometimes for Christianity, for religion. Other traditional customs, I want to hear. You young man, you're here in front of me, just quiet. Tell me. Traditional ceremonies.
Introduction ceremonies in the Baganda. I've never been to one. But... Okay, I'll try to summarize. My name is Joram. Yes. It's basically about introducing, like the girl, like the bride to be husband. Then the family of both the parties, they meet each other. There is an exchange, usually from the side of the man. They bring what we would call bride price, I think. A lot of gifts, dowry, yeah. Then there are formal conversations. Like these days they try to make it like the way it used to be before, when the family comes, they talk, are you going to take care of our daughter, all that stuff. Yeah, then after, yeah, then it ends. Yeah. Thank you.
That's what he knows. Some of you have seen some of these functions, either at home or on TV. Huh? The traditional ceremonies and how they take place. I want us to have an interactive discussion. So whether you be ready, I'm coming for you. So I want someone else to tell me, which tribe are you? Which tribe are you? I'm Uganda. I want someone who's not a Muganda. Which tribe?
Okay, actually, guys, I'm not one of them. Yes. Okay, in the Dingas, what I think they mostly do, if it's a lady, like, yeah, the Dingas, they mostly, okay, they just come as the crowd. They can't propose. They just come just as the crowd to the girl. And by force, they have to take you to the house. By force. And for the dowry staffs, now for the dowry staffs, what I think all they should do, like as a, if you're marrying then not the lady, as a man, like now let me say the owner of what the parents of the lady, and you have to bring what cows. That means as the father of the lady, he has to throw what the spear until where I think it lies. That means all those cows belongs unto them. Yeah. And now, if the husband dies, the brother takes over and yams. That's what I think I understand.
So as we talk about culture and customs, we need to respect the good ones. You know what, in culture, there are also some, there are some traditional aspects that are positive and negative, yeah? So we really need to embrace the positive ones, and then the negative ones, sometimes it's actually not good to be able to follow them. I'll speak about, for some of the traditional ceremonies in marriage. He has told us about how the Dinka, they don't go into dating the girl, proposing, the family is discussing. Once they know that this girl is now ready for marriage, the boys will organize themselves, the men, they will organize themselves, and then they come and get that girl. So the strongest, then they will take her the other side. Once they take her to the family, then the parents start now discussing just the dowry. And we've had the dowry, they don't really discuss. They come to the kraal and throw the spear. I also know it happens in the Karamajong. Where the spear ends, if they have how many cows this side, they'll take all those cows. So it's really, really important that we, as we are growing up, we need to understand what our custom is. If I'm Uganda, I need to understand all the customs. It's a challenge to you youth, yeah? Because these days we're talking about diversity, we're talking about modernity, but we are failing to really respect and live according to our cultural practices. And I must tell you that even in the Bible, they're actually respected. We need to be able to understand that for some of the customs, don't need to really be followed all the time, because some are actually not good. And the ones that I need to mention are some of the customs relating to child marriage, relating to marrying off girls early. You've heard of girls who have been abducted for marriage, yeah? The Constitution of Uganda provides that the children are children until when they are 18 years. You become an adult when you're 19. But even when you turn 19 and you're still in my household, you're still a child. You're the adult. I expect you to behave in a certain way. But if I'm still taking care of you, paying your school fees, taking care of you in everything, you need to be able to respect and behave in a certain way. You understand? According to the culture, according to the customs. But for our friends in Eastern Uganda, where we have issues of child marriage, issues of teenage pregnancy, you know, some of these issues we really say they're not good, and we always advocate against them. You understand? And for some of the traditional customs like the embalu, you know, if they're going to do it by force and they're using rudimentary methods, like very bad methods, if they're talking about circumcisions, can it be done in the right way? We also have a bad tradition in our friends up east there and in Karamoja. We've heard about female genital mutilation. It only doesn't happen in Uganda, but also in other parts of the world. So some of those customs are really not good, traditional practices. And if they actually happen, sometimes we say either you run away or you speak against them. As this side, in my field where I work, we advocate against those poor, traditional, they are negative practices that are actually affecting humanity. Because for girls, if they're taking them into, they're going to actually take them, the female genital mutilation is they cut certain parts of the girl's female organ. It's actually not good, it's not healthy, you understand? So we advocate against some of the negative, poor, traditional or customary practices. So our presenters, your team asked us that we need to be able to talk to you about the customs, the culture, and I need to tell you that also culture is respected in the Bible. There are different customs that were actually happening in the Bible. And I've made the introduction of the different customs and cultures, how we believe, how we behave, how we greet. And my challenge to you this morning is that as you leave this camp, yeah, or even during this camp, if you have a relative, a friend, get to know, talk to your friends, what do your cultures speak about? What are the good practices? Can we go with the good practices? You understand? The negative ones, we should be able to speak against these negative customs. You understand? Yeah? So I'll hand it over to Auntie Kai to take us through the cultural diversity and how it is in the Bible, and then we'll take it up from there. Thank you.
Let's clap for Auntie Debbie. Thank you, Debbie.
Good morning. How are you? How are you? Should be confident about yourself and answer. Good morning once again. How are you today? So we'll excuse Auntie Debbie. Okay. My Auntie Debbie has talked a lot about our cultures and how we behave, and you've also talked about them. But me, we want also to do a discussion. It's not going to be me presenting. You are going to tell me how we should relate our cultures with our church. Church is like our moderator with cultures. Some cultures, as she said, we can't use them. We can't use them. So tell me, and I expect, I think, Mount Olive to tell me more about what culture did on a certain Sabbath that we had. What did you benefit out of the culture? Do we have Mount Olive members here? This is a recent thing. Tell me what you benefited. Where are the Mount Olives? Mount Olive members? Where are you? Who attended the cultural Sabbath that we had? Renee, did you? Didn't you attend? What did we benefit? What did we benefit? So maybe to give others that were not, those that were not in our church, we had a cultural Sabbath, and we had to dress in different culture attires. People had to tell us about their main meals. Yeah, cultures have different dishes that they eat, yeah, traditionally. Maybe you could tell me, okay, that was it. We had to wear our traditions. We had to show our meals that we have, our main dishes that we have in our culture, different tribes. Yeah, that was it. Maybe you could tell me. Yes, I'm seeing a hand. Someone could give him a microphone.
Yeah, so something I remember from that culture Sabbath is that we had someone from the Buganda Kingdom. I don't remember, was it? Yeah, I don't remember the guy, but they spoke about how the SDA church is hoping to keep culture alive, because we know nowadays the world is literally fighting against culture. And so they spoke about how SDA is impacting culture. Yeah, that's all I remember.
Thank you so much. Yes. They try to show us how the SDA church is involved in culture. They need to behave according and respecting people's cultures. Yes, sir.
Good morning. So we were told how the Adventist church started in the Buganda Kingdom. We saw that the missionaries, actually, when they just come, it was because the Baganda are generally hospitable. So they hosted the first missionaries, they took care of them. So I think that's a part of culture that we should be able to keep. Hospitality is very good, and I think it would be good for for the mission. And also, we did dress in our culture wear, and I think all cultures were decent. No one came with short dresses, so I think we should also keep the
Decent.
part of dressing as part of our church. Yeah.
Good, thank you so much. So yeah, that is our cultural adaptation. So we had to adapt. SDA Church often adapts practices to align with local cultures while maintaining core beliefs. This can be in how we worship, how we do our music, community activities, and tailoring to fit community contexts. So the SDA Church tries as much as possible to align its outreach or preaching to align with our culture. And Sarah says about dress code. It's unfortunate that some people try to be indecent, yet in most cultures, if you see our cultural wears are decent enough, yeah? So we are copying the outside world, the Europe, the US, how to dress. But culturally, our traditions that is their culture, meanwhile. That is their culture. We are not embracing our cultures. We are trying to copy other people's culture. Do you think our cultures are not good? Do you think it is not good? How we dress is not good? It is good. That is their culture. This is our culture. So we should endeavor as much as possible to be proud. Let's be proud of what we have. And also, it is unfortunate that also them they copy. They love what we wear, how we behave. So let's endeavor to love and be proud of what we are. How do also the church also tries to as church, as SDA church, when we go for like outreach, humanitarian projects, the ADRA members try to align. Let's say if they go to the northern Uganda, they will not go with the Buganda culture to the northern Uganda. They will try to fit in the culture that they are going to help out. They will try to do research to align with people's culture where they are going. Yeah. And then that is the outreach. So they will try to do research to help them preach. You know, you're not going to bring your culture, take it to northern Uganda, and trying to attract people to come to church. When we are doing outreach, it is so important that we do proper research on the areas that we are going to, and trying to even learn a few words. Learn a few words in their language so that you can attract them to come. If, let's say, it is a camp meeting, or you're going to help in a school, we need to understand their cultures. We need to know their cultures and be able to be part of them. You know, if someone sees you, like if I call you by name, then you will know that I know you. Even if I don't know you that much, oh, you said, oh, you know my name. It's something that is good to know someone's name, call them by name. So hi, or hi, Jordan. Jordan will feel so proud that I know their name. You just said, oh, hi. Yeah? So it is good to know people's culture as we do our outreach as a church, do our, humanitarian help to different places. So, yeah. When people go to Bududa too with the Gomeses, let's say if those are not the Gomeses, if that's not their culture, like they don't wear the Gomeses, they will go with things that particular area wears to help them. Let's say if we are donating clothes, if we are taking food, let's say if they don't eat meat, we will not take meat. So it is good as an SDA church to know all that, so that when we go for those outreaches that we're going to do, we know people's culture. Maybe another point is enhanced mission, and then that is what I was telling you, that a diverse congregation can better connect with service and serve a variety of community, expanding church impacts and outreach. So yes, when you get to know people's culture, then the outreach would be better. You connect better with people. Community building, celebrating various culture, that's what we are talking about. As Mount Olive, we did that, and I think we got to know people, different culture, so people who even didn't know that so-and-so is a Muganda, got to know, you every day you are Muganda, I didn't know that, So those Bagandas got to connect, the Banyarandas got to connect, the artists got to connect, the Kenyans got to connect also, and that builds togetherness, yeah? It brought us together. It brought us, now if I meet someone from our culture, I'll have to say, hi, yet before I was not doing that. So it is very good as an SDA church to have such celebrations of culture. Yeah. I think that's so much that I've said. Auntie Debbie said so much about defining what cultures are, how do we behave to different cultures, and for me, that is it. I had to bring it closer to the church, how we should, and of course some tradition as church, we need to also be conscious on how we dress. Some cultures, yes, it is their culture, the way they dress, the dress code wouldn't be pleasing to everyone. So it is very important that we take in mind about other people as we do different cultures. Yeah, we need to respect them, but also each culture needs to respect other people's cultures. So as a church, we have done so much as a church to reach out. Who knows ADRA? What do they do? Want to show you how. How do they do that? How do they reach out? Daima.
Sorry, they travel. They travel everywhere in the world
Yes. Okay.
to help them out.
To help out. Kyle? Thank you. Thank you, Diamond. Kyle, tell us. What do the ADRA people do? It is an SDA organization. Kyle.
They travel to places in need and help them. They travel to places with people in need and help them. Like, for example, people who have been in a war, they'll help them with food and water and stuff.
Okay. So, yes, ADRA helps. ADRA, as a church organization, also reaches out to people in need, educate people, build schools, also do some training to teachers, feed the hungry people who are in need. They do sorts of things. So as a church also, they do such. When they go to such places, they need to be in consideration of our cultures. Unless you have any questions about our culture and our church, you can maybe somebody to add on their cultures. Are there any questions? Or someone would add church and culture? Are there questions? Have you understood? Were we clear? Or you haven't understood? Okay, what have you learned? What have you learned?
Okay, so I've learned to be proud of my culture, and I've also learned to respect other people's cultures.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Someone else?
Hi.
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 Hello.
The same way you say the same way you say it, people call you by a name, they identify as a name. I've learned that culture serves as my unique identifier. So
Yeah, good. Thank you so much. Who else? Someone's hand. Ruby. Yeah.
nice.
I have learned to respect people no matter their culture.
Good. Good. Someone else? Oh, Jordan is here.
I've learned to embrace our cultures.
You have learned? Oh, good. Why are people sleeping? They are praying. No, those who are sleeping should step out. So you see, that is one of the things. Someone is speaking and people are sleeping. That's disrespect. Do not. When you are sleepy, just step out. Yeah? This is the respect we are telling you, youth. If you're not feeling well, you just step out. Yeah? Learn to respect. So, as I conclude, our overall culture diversity within the SDA Church enriches its global fellowship, allowing it to address spiritual needs in various cultural texts, while fostering a sense of unity among its members worldwide. So that's why we have worldwide churches. So each one should respect each other's culture. God bless you people as you feel proud of your culture. People feel proud of your culture. Our African culture is diverse and it is beautiful. Yeah? Let's stop copying cultures that are out there. Let's embrace our own culture. God bless you all.